Okay, so let's start, guys. I think everyone has done it now. So, the first tip that I'm going to tell you is whenever you start with a project, okay, whenever you start with any project in your life, so at the starting only, try to import all the libraries that is required. So, importing all the libraries. Okay, so what you have to do is, okay, so what you have to do is, you have to import all the libraries that you will be working with this project. So for example, we can use NumPy, we can use Pandas, okay, we can use Matplotlib. And we can use Seaborn also. Okay. So the good habit is try to import all the libraries that is required. Okay. After you have done all the libraries or you have imported all the libraries and when you execute it, there's no problem with it. What you can do is, okay, you have to import the CSV file. So let's say I took a df is equal to, so if I want to load a CSV file, guys, so what is the command to load a CSV file?
pd.read_csv.
pd.read CSV. Okay. And inside this, you have to give the path where your file is. So let me get my files quickly. Okay, so if you want to see all the files in this particular directory, so you can do ls and execute it. So when you do ls and execute it, if you scroll down, you will see your file titanic.csv, guys. And of course, you have to unzip it. Okay, please unzip it. Then only you can see titanic.csv file. And if you are able to see that, okay, if you're able to see that, then what you have to do is put the file name. That's it. So titanic.csv and execute it. And once you do that, df execute it, and you will see a CSV file will be loaded. Okay. So this is the CSV file that we have. So let me give you the small introduction about the CSV file. Okay. So this CSV file is the data that is collected from the incident that took place a year ago. That is the Titanic one. Okay. So that is the data for those people. So you have passenger ID. Then you have something survived. So basically this particular person survived or not. So you have that particular column. Then you have something called as P class. Now this P class is nothing but, let's say you have different classes, right? On the ship you have different classes. On the aeroplane or on the train you have different classes of arrangement, right? Like AC, sleeper. Then on a plane you have economy class. Then so like this also in a ship also we have different classes, guys. Okay, for different persons. So for different category of prices of ticket we have different classes. That is categorized as a P class. Then we have a name of a particular person. Then of course the sex, that is a gender, male and female. Then age of a particular person. Now SIB, SP and PARCH is nothing but the family members basically. Okay, the family members, or if you have with someone with you, so that is SIB, SP or PARCH. Then we have something called as ticket number. So this is a PNR number that we have. So they have a ticket number. Then this is a fare. Okay, this is a fare for the ticket. This was the cabin. Okay, cabin is nothing but, let's say, again, when you go to a flight or you take a train, so what happens? You get a seat number, right? Or you get a flight seat number. So that is nothing but cabin. So in a ship you get a cabin. Then there's something called as embarked. Embarked is nothing but from where the particular person has boarded the ship. Okay, so from where the particular person has boarded the ship. So you have S, C, and Q. Okay, so these are the different fields that we have, and we have to work on this field now. Okay, we have to gather the data from this particular field that we have right now. Okay, if I want to see top 10 data, how can I see that?
Head 10.
So df dot head of 10 and execute it, and you will see the top 10 data. Okay, now if I want to see the basic information about this data set, so which function to use?
Info.
So if I want to know all the basic information, like let's say how many rows, how many columns, what are the different data types of a columns and stuff like that. So instead of writing 10 to 15 commands to the same thing, we can use something called as df.info and execute it. Okay. And once you do df.info and execute it, you will get all the details. So from this, can you tell me how many columns do we have? And guys, I want everyone to do a parallel coding with me, okay? Because I will be asking you a lot of questions and you have to give me the answers, okay? So,
12 columns.
So 12 columns, how many rows?
891.
891 rows. So you got the idea that this particular data is 891, 12, okay? Now, what all information can you give from this info, guys? So so the information that you have given me from this df.info is rows, number of rows. You have also given me number of columns. What else you can give me the information from this info?
Number of null values in each column.
Number of null values. Okay, so which column has a null values?
Age, cabin, and embarked.
Yes. Okay, so we have 891 entries, right? And in the age, we have only 714 normal values. So from this, the rest of the missing value is null, right? So this is how we judge the size, okay? So age, then cabin is also is 204. So cabin is 204 and embarked. Okay, so these are the number these are the column which has a missing data. Okay, what else?
Data type of each column.
Data type of each column. Okay, so you try to so you get these 4 important information from this info method, guys. Okay, from this info method. So this is the first step you do. Then the next, okay, then the next step what you do is now let's try to play with the data now. Okay, so basically everyone knows everything. Okay, so from here, so I want to sort the data by names. So the command that you have to use is df dot sort values. Okay, and by which index you want to sort. So we have a something called as name index. So by name, that's it. Execute it, and here all the data will be sorted by names. Okay, here all the data will be sorted by names. But this what you're sorting, guys, it is just a new data set, or it is making the changes in df itself? What do you think?
It's a new data set.
It's a new data set, but I want to make the changes in df itself. So what should I do?
Maybe df is equal to df dot sort or in place equals to true if it is there in place option.
Okay, so the best practice that I follow is I put a parameter called as in place equal to true. Okay, so that also I will do. So in place is equal to true. So when you do in place equal to true, so the original df will get changed, guys. Okay, original df will get changed. So if I execute this, now if I put df, this is the thing that you have. Now, when you have done that, you will see that the index are in random order now. So I want to bring this index again from a proper order. So what can I do? Commands, please. So basically resetting the index.
Ignore underscore index in that only sort values.
Okay, so ignore index is false here. Okay, so what you can do is resetting the index can be done two ways. So df dot reset index is one of the parameter that you can use, guys. And here also you can do drop is equal to true. Execute it and the reset and the index will be reset. Okay, or other ways that you can put here index ignore index equal to true parameter. It's totally up to you how you want to do it. Okay,
So what happened with in place? Like what changes it does it did?
so you are asking that what is the benefit of using this in short?
Yeah, in place.
Yeah, so basically what happens is if you don't try to put in place, no, so the data set that you get is totally a new data frame. So nothing is happening to df. Okay, nothing is happening to df. But let's say you don't want to create a new data frame. You want the changes to be made in the df itself. Then we use something called as in place equal to true. For example, see.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So if I execute this, okay, so I'm doing everything again. Okay. Now see this. If I don't put this, okay, what is happening? See, you get the new data here. Can you see that? And the data is sorted now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but if you try to only execute df now, see, nothing has changed there. Can you see? It is still like that only.
Right.
So basically what is happening is when you write this particular method, so it always try to give you the new data frame. But let's say we don't want a new data frame. We want everything, whatever changes is happening here, we want to be done in the df itself. So what you can do is you can put a parameter in place equal to 2. Got it now?
Yes, thank you.
When you do in place equal to true and execute it, it will be in df itself now. Now when I execute df now, see, it is a very proper, it is the sorted data now. Okay. Now the problem here was when I did the sorted data, the index got jumbled up. Okay, and we want to reset the index again. So what we can do is we can use df dot reset index drop equal to true and execute it, and the index will be 0 1 2 3 and so on. Okay, now the problem here is, yeah, so it's proper. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so now what we do is, guys, is we try to analyze each of the column. That's the third step. Okay, the first step is loading the data. The second step is getting the basic information about the data. Then the third thing is we try to analyze each of the columns. Okay, each of the columns we try to analyze it. So the first thing is how many unique values are there for each categorical column. Okay, so the question here is that how many unique values are there for each categorical column. So the first thing that we have to identify is which are the categorical columns. Okay, so can anyone tell me that which can all be a categorical columns for you while seeing the data?
Name, sex,
No, the type of
ticket,
ticket.
embarked.
Okay,
From
so
info we can tell. And from info, wherever object is written, we can see and tell.
survived. Yes, from the info you can sell. Then P class. These are also there, right? P class and everything got there, categorical only, right? No. See, categorical, what I mean to say is which are divided into groups. Categorical is not a string data type. Okay, I think you everyone took it very differently. So categorical datas are those datas which are categorized into group. For example, survived. So people are categorized into 0 and 1s. People are categorized into different classes. So that is what you mean by categorical column, guys. Okay. So guys, again,
So,
I'm erasing anything. Please, can you tell me the column name again?
served P class, ticket, fare,
B class
ticket,
and sex. See, ticket cannot
SIB.
be a categorized column because every person has a unique ticket, right?
Yeah, but economical and there are two kinds of.
Yeah, so basically P class is already done.
Oh,
P
okay.
class. Yeah. Then sex. Then we have something called as
SIB, SP.
SIBSP Parch.
SIBSP. Technically speaking, SIBSP is not a categorical column because it is like a family member. So one family member. So this person has no family members. Okay. So, but still that comes with the digging up. Okay. So then we have something called as cabin
And embarked.
and embarked. Okay, great. Now the first step is achieved.
Why, Afsan, why that SIBSP is not categorical? Like it will have some limited number of values. Obviously, it is like one sibling or spouse, two siblings and
Yeah.
spouse.
Okay. So SIBSP. Okay, you can think like that also. So yes, the category.
And Parch also, same way. Parch.
Parch also, yes. So parch. So now the first step is achieved, guys. Okay. So now we have found out that, okay, these are the categorical columns we have. Now we have to move to the second step. The question was how many unique values? What I mean to say is, when you say survived is a categorical column, so how many values are there in survived? How many unique values are there in survived? So can anyone give me the method? Or can
It's
anyone
like
tell
it.
me
Let's
how
df dot describe include equals to object. Maybe I don't remember exactly.
Okay. So basically df dot describe, and then you can put include, not this type of include equal to object. Executed. So name set get cabin embarked. Unfortunately, this object, no, what is it telling is it is only giving the object data type. But here we have a mixture of integer, right? So that is, so this will only give me the half answer. This will not give me the full answer. Okay. So anyways, the next step is to try to find out the unique values. Okay. So that we can judge it. So basically to do that, what the simple technique, what you can do is df of survived, that is the survived dot unique is a command that you can put and execute it, and it will give you all the unique data in a form of an array. Okay, so in a survived dot unique, when you did, so it is telling that in a survived column we have either 0 or 1 category. So 0 means that they have not survived, 1 means that they had survived. Okay, so like this you can do for all the columns. Okay, so survived has 2 categories, that is 0 and 1. What about P class, guys? How many categories?
Three. Three categories. P
Okay,
class.
so you have 3 categories here also. So 3, and which are those in P class?
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Now same for sex.
Male, female, 2.
So 2, and that is male and female. What about SIBSP?
7 unique values.
7. Okay. What about Paj?
Also has 7 unique values.
What about Cabin? Okay, so guys, if you're counting it, then don't do that. Okay, you know the functions to do it.
Length.
So once you get the array, you can do length of that array, and you will get the output.
148.
Yes, 148. What about embarked?
4.
4. Okay. So anyone has a doubt in this? You can ask. Okay. So if everything is clear till here, guys, so basically all the 3 steps that we have done step by step. Okay, that is loading the data, then getting the basic information about the data and analyzing each of the columns. These 3 things are clear to everyone.
Yes.
It will be good if I get all the answers from everyone in the chat box. Okay, great. Now, the next step is now we try to manipulate with the data. Okay, what I mean to say is right now, let's say I have a cabin column, correct? Okay, I have a cabin column. So let me write the question here. Create a new column name and a new column. Let's say the new column is new underscore cabin and extract all the first letter from the cabin column and put in new cabin column. Okay, let me tell you the meaning of what the use case is. So if you see, there is something called as a cabin column. Okay, so basically what you have to do is you have to create a new column. So basically you have to create a new column that is new cabin here, new cabin. Okay, and the data of this cabin will be the first letter of each cabin. For example, what is the first letter of cabin here is N. So here it will be N.
That is nan value, right?
So that's the thing. So that's the thing you have to see. Okay, that's the purpose of this. Okay, so basically here also nan, so N. Here also nan, so N. Here also nan, so N. So similarly, let's say we have some value as X, Y, Z. So the first value will be the part of this X. Okay, so like this, you have to make a new column and you have to give a new data here. So the cabin's data, the first letter of cabin data will be the data of new cabin. So the question is clear to everyone? If it's clear, I'm giving you 5 minutes. It is not easy, okay, guys? So you have to think a little bit, okay? You have to use your programming skills to get these answers. Let's try to debug this, guys, okay? So the first thing is, so whenever a problem is given to you, so try to find out the solution step by step, okay? So first try to create a new column, okay? How to create a new column? df of new cabin. Now I have told you that if you want to give that number of unique, that number of data, so you have to put something in a form of a list, okay? The only thing is that this list should contain the data, correct? The question is how this list will contain a data. Okay, the answer is very simple. Okay, what you can do is you know Python, correct? So what we can do here is we can create a list of new data is equal to, you know how to use a list comprehension, correct? So for data in df of a cabin column, okay, df of a cabin column, and you do for each data, you just try to give out the 0th element. Okay, now let's try to run this first. Let's see what is output.
Cabin has capital C.
Cabin has capital C. Okay, yeah. Okay. Now when I try to run this data, you will again get an error, and if I scroll down, you will get float object is not subscriptable. Can anyone by this error tell me what is the problem here now?
There are NaN
Yeah.
values inside.
Float,
Yes.
you're trying to index float number.
Yes. Okay. So basically it is, let's say 10.2 and you are doing a of 0. So then the message comes float object is non-subscriptable. Okay. So the none data type that we have, I've always told you that is a floating point number. Okay. And you cannot do this. But what trick I can use here is I can convert this data into string first, str, and then I can find out the 0. Okay. Now execute it. Now there is no error. See. Now, if you see list new data here, you will see a list of new data. Now, this list just provide into new cabin. Your work is done. Okay, guys. So this is how you solve the problems. So you have to use your Python knowledge as well as your data frame knowledge, and this is how you can use it or execute it. Now, if I do df execute it, so you will get a new cabin as the data here. See, and all the data you are getting it. Okay, and all the data you are getting it. So guys, there are different ways of doing it. Okay, so basically Bhargav has given me also one of the way. Then there is also a different ways of doing it. Okay, it's totally up to you how you understand it and how you take an approach of it. So now here comes the second question. Okay, create a new column. So basically what we are doing here is from a particular column, we are deriving a new column. Okay, so this is what you do in data science. For example, let's take a real-time scenario. You have SIB and parts, right? So I've told you that these are the family members, right? So basically create a new column, family, okay, and add SIB, SP, and parts to get the total family members and put in column family. So basically 0 plus 0, so that answer should be in the family column. 1 plus 1, so 2 in the family column. 1 plus 1, then 2 in the family column. Like this, you have to add this data and you have to put in a family column, guys. Okay, so the answer is very straightforward, guys. Okay, so df of, sorry, not this, df of family, okay, equal to, what you have to do is you have to add the two columns. So df of SIBSP plus df of patch. Execute it, df, and you will get one more column as a family column. So from this, so now you can remove this SIB, SP, and patch column, guys, because you have a family column, right? So from the family column, we will get to right answer that, okay, this person was having 2 extra members. This person was having 2 extra members. Okay, so we can avoid this kind of data. Now, this is what you call as data manipulation, where you're converting 2 columns into 1 column to get the same information. Okay, so this is how you reduce the data, guys. Okay, this is how you do the things. Of course, this is just a basic class, but in after machine learning, when you finish now, you will get the all lot of ideas of how to do it. Okay, so yes. So now let's move to the second data. Now, basically the third thing. Now we have a sex column that is male and female, right? Now what you have to do is generate, or basically create a new column. Okay, create a new column called it as, let's say, gender, and for male put M, and for female put F in the gender column from sex column. Okay, so basically the thing is that you have to create a new column called a gender, and for male it will be M, and for female it should be F in that particular column. Okay, guys. So basically, I want to introduce with a new thing that is you're learning for the first time, and that is the apply method. Okay, so most of the time I go with this apply method a lot of time. Okay, this is my favorite. This is one of my favorite method in pandas. Okay, why this is favorite? Because what you can do is with the apply method, you can use functions and you can try to get the things very quickly. Let me try to explain you how this apply function works first. So you have to use a new column, that is df dot gender is equal to df of sex, whichever column you want to play with. Okay, dot apply. Now inside this, you have to use a lambda function. So lambda of parameter x. Okay, so how this works, let me tell you. So you have a df here. Okay, now lambda of x. So if x is equal to male, then M, else female. Very straightforward. So how this apply function work is that it will go to each row of the sex column. So basically it will go for each row. So first one is male. Okay, from the male, so male will be stored in X. Okay, male will be stored in X. Now if X is equal to male, so this condition is true or false, guys? What do you think? This condition is true or false?
True.
This condition is true, correct? So whenever this condition is true, it will go inside if or
Yeah.
else. So it will go inside if, and M will be printed.
Yeah.
Okay, so this will be stored in a new column that you have, that will be put here. Okay, as a gender. As a gender. Okay, now when this is done, then it will move to again to the second row. Now the second row's data will be stored here. So again male. Then the third row, that is female. Okay, so this condition is false, then it will this condition becomes false, then it will go to else part, and this is how the apply function works, guys. Okay, so if I execute this, and now if I print df and execute it, and you will see you will get M and F accordingly. So this is how you can use this apply function, guys. So this is a new technique that you can use a lot to play with the data. So you have other ways also, but this is also one of the way with the apply method. So if any doubts, anything you want to ask, please go ahead and ask.
So in apply, like function goes as an input.
Sorry?
In apply, function goes as an input. In apply.
In
In apply
apply the function, okay, let's try. So basically, let's say you create a function def data, okay, of x. Then you take the same thing. So if x is equal to male, return M, else
I think that return M is too ahead.
okay. So you have, if you want to use a function here, then you can use data, execute it, and yes, you get the answer. So you can use your own customized function also.
Just you call function and automatically the input parameter
Yes,
goes
yes.
as that row or
That
row
row, yes.
wise or column wise according to the x equal to 0.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is also you can do, or this is also you can do. It's totally up to you how you want to use it. If it's a very big function, then you can use your customized function like this. Okay, so yeah. So any doubts, any queries, please ask.
Can we use a dictionary for inside the apply? For example, there are more categorical values, just not two, like male and female,
Mhm.
and we want to give it the mapping.
So for that, you have to write your own customized function. Okay. In apply, the problem is that this can only take only one or two statements only at a time. So if that is a scenario, let's say you have many things, then you have to go with your customized function where you can put a dictionary and you can put a mapping there. So you have to write a code for it.
Okay, so what apply will take only functions.
Apply, yeah, apply can take only functions. Yes, apply is only meant for functions, for nothing else. Okay. The next question. Find out the percentage of missing data. Okay, find out the percentage of missing data. Okay, this is fine. This is percentage of missing data.
After in that apply function,
Mhm.
there we define data bracket x. So if we define x comma y, then it will give error. Define
Yeah,
data
because
x
these
comma y.
apply functions can only take one parameter at a time. So this
Okay.
function should be only one parameter.
Okay.
Because see,
Otherwise,
if you give x comma y, it doesn't make sense, right? Because you are getting
yes,
one
yes.
data at a time, correct?
Yes.
So that's why. Okay.
Yes.
So
I think if the data isn't tuple, I mean, data on which we are using apply, if that is a tuple, then we can use.
yeah, so it depends on data. If that is a tuple, then you can use it x comma y. Okay. So find out the percentage of the missing data of a respective column. Okay. So yes, in the earlier class, you have told me that what you have told me that age. Sorry, this is cabin. That age, cabin, and embarked was having a null values, right? So I want to know that what is the percent of the missing values? Okay, so what is the percentage of a missing values for each of the columns? So you require a pandas knowledge, Python knowledge, as well as a mathematical knowledge now. So that info method, what you have told you is just giving you a vague idea that okay, which all data has a missing values. But if you want to know the missing values, then what you have to do is you have to do df dot is null. Okay. So when you do df dot is null, so basically it will create a data frame in front of you where the data will be filled with false and true. So meaning of true is that yes, in that particular column of the cell, you have a null values, and the meaning of false is no, there is no null values. But also this also is not giving me a very good idea now. Okay, this also is not giving me the good idea. So what I can do is I can do dot sum and execute it. When I do dot sum and execute it, so basically you will get this data. And this data will tell you that which column has how many missing values. So age, you have 127 missing values. For cabin, you have 687 missing values. And for embark, you have 2 missing values. Okay. So you have to use this knowledge. So df is null dot sum divided by the size of a data frame. So df dot size. Okay. Once you do it, you get this. And this is in this, right? So you can do multiply by 100. Execute it, and these are the missing values that you have, guys. Okay, so this is how you can use the knowledge. So in the age you have 1% missing data, in cabin you have 5% missing data, and your embarked you have 0.01 missing data.
Afsan, this df dot size is this one is wrong, I think. It's
Okay.
len of df.
So Bhargav, df dot size will not work. Okay, so basically what you want the number of rows here. Okay, so df dot shape, okay, of 0.
Or length of df, len of df.
Yes, that is also you can do. This is also you can do. So this is the correct answer that you have. So age you have 90% missing data. For cabin you have 77% missing data, and for embarked you have 0.22% of missing data. Now, at the end of the day, okay, so your job is to analyze the data, of course, so that you can give the insight of it. But at the end of the day, you should create a clean data set where there is no missing data, guys. Okay, that is a job that you have to do. So basically, now somehow you have to come up with a logic, okay, and you have to come up with the idea that how you can remove the null values from age, cabin, and embarked. So right now you can see that age is 19% missing data, cabin is 77% missing data, and embarked you have 0.22% of missing data. So you can fill these values, of course. I have told you the method, but by which value you will fill? So age, for age, what is the best option to fill the null values, guys?
Maybe average.
Okay, you can go with the average or the median. Okay, that is both
Or
the options you have.
or average on the basis of sex or some conditions.
So basically you're just trying to find out the mean or the median of a particular age column. Okay, then for cabin, what decision we will take? See, for cabin you have 77% missing data, right? So that data is not of any our concern now, because you have more than 60% of data that is missing. So what you do, you try to drop that column.
Remove column.
Okay, you try to remove that column. And what about embarked? What you will do?
Maybe we can remove those rows or just put the most occurring value.
Okay, so for mode is a categorical data, right? So embarked is a categorical data. So we'll try to find out the mode of it. Okay, so guys, this is a task you have to do now. And the task is replace none value of age with mean. Okay, drop cabin column and replace none of embarked with mode. Okay, so let's go with the answer, guys. So the answer is very straightforward. So replace none value of age with mean. So df of age, df of age, yes, dot replace. Okay, I have to replace all the none values with the so this is age, right? So for age we will go with mean. So df of age dot mean, and your work is done. And of course, in place, if we have that function, yes, we have in place equal to true, executed. And if you go in df now, okay, this is not the answer that we'll get. So if you go df of age dot is null, okay, dot sum, and executed, there is no null value. So you have done that. Then we have to drop the cabin column. So df dot drop, okay, and columns is equal to cabin, and in place is equal to 2. Executed. You have dropped that column also now. Now the embarked part is left, right? So you can copy the same thing here, paste here. Here you will put embarked. Okay, and embarked of mode of 0. Executed. Okay, let's see what is the problem. Series of the no mode. Okay, sorry. And now you have done all the 3 ways. Now if you do df dot is null, okay, dot sum and execute it, so you will see now you have a clean data where you don't have any of the null values. So guys, this is what you have to end in the achieve. This is what you have to achieve in the end.
Afsan, can you just print data frame once? I'm
Data frame, okay.
sorry, I am getting error. After running df dot drop columns,
Yeah, if
my
you try
kernel dies.
if you try to run that particular column again, no, it will throw an error. Why? So I think because you're running this particular thing again and again, that's the problem. Are you doing the same thing?
I don't know, but my kernel is dying. I just did it once.
Your kernel is dying. Okay.
Not error. And what is this mode 0? Why you put 0?
See, if you put mode, no. So what is the problem with this is that if you execute this, you're getting the answer as series. Okay, but I want the answer as a proper string value. So mode of 0. I'm doing the slice indexing part here. So when you do mode of 0, you will get the first value as a string, and that I'm putting as a this part. Got it?
Yes.
So your kernel is dying. I don't know why that is happening, but try to execute everything in one cell and try to do it, Sachin.
Yes, yes.
So this is how you play with the data, guys. Okay, these are the different techniques. So in this you have learned something. Okay, the basic thing that how you have to proceed. And this you have learned a new function like apply, is null, and unique. So 3 methods, the things that you have learned in this particular use case. Okay, and that was the purpose of this use case. Now what we'll try to do is we will try to plot some
Got the
data.
error, Afsan.
Sorry.
I got the error. I was doing df dot with the df h dot mean, but I was putting brackets in front of mean. So after that, if I was trying to see my data frame, then kernel was dying. So something
Okay.
was happening.
Okay. So now what we have to do is, so let's try to plot some data here. Okay. So basically, I want to know that on which particular stop, okay, at which particular stop we had a maximum number of people. Okay, so we have a simple answer, sns.count plot, and inside this just post x equal to df of inbar. Execute it, and here you will get the answer. So S, C, and Q. So among S, C, and Q, S is the place where the maximum number of people have voted. Okay. If I want to know which gender survived the most, so which gender survived the most, if I want to know, then what you will, how you will do it. But SNS dot bar plot, if we are trying to doing that, so let's say what we want, male and survived, right? So sex and survived. Okay, so you can write here sex, then you can write here survived, and you can provide a data frame, that is df. Okay, so I think this will be data. Execute it. Okay, let's see what is the problem. Okay, spelling is wrong, so copy, paste, execute it. Okay, and now from this you will see that among male and female, female is the gender who has survived the most among the male. Okay, so Bhargav has given me the different answer. So if that is working, let's see. Oh, it's a, this is okay, this is also working fine. Okay, so this
Sir,
is
can
all.
we do it with plt dot bar? Bar
Yes,
plot will.
if bar plot is working, bar will also work, right? Okay, let me check. So if you do the same thing with plt dot bar, okay, and df of 6, df of survived. Yes, you can do
But
it.
this is my doubt. I'm getting both one.
Okay. This is weird. Survived. See, in plt.bar, no, the problem is that uh, one should be categorical and one should be the continuous data. Now here the problem is that for sex and survive, the problem is that both are the categorical data. So that is a problem in bar plot. So remember when I taught you the bar plot, I told you
Yes,
that
yes.
one data should be categorical and one data should be this, right? So that is a problem with matplotlib. That's why SNS is working better than this. So that is a problem. Okay, guys, and guys, did I tell you about pandas profiling? What is pandas profiling?
No.
Okay, so basically now recently they have come. So basically this is the new trend that it will go, okay, in the future. But still, so basically what I'm doing right now is I'm giving you the new technology thing, okay here. So basically, recently around 1 year ago, people came up with a new library and that is called as pandas profiling. Okay, now that library. Okay, that library, what I will do is I will tell you. So basically, I will show you and then I will explain you. Okay, so for first thing, what you have to do is you have to install. If you want to use it, you have to install something called as pandas profiling. So pandas profiling, PYPI. Okay, so those who want to do it, you can do it. Okay, so this is a very new library which has impressed me a lot. Okay, and you will understand why I'm saying that. So first install it. Okay, first install it by using pip install pandas profiling, everyone. Okay, after doing this, if you go down and if you scroll down, they will tell you how to do each and everything here. So there is something called as pandas report. So copy this and paste it. So basically they are importing from pandas profiling, import profile report. Okay, once you have done that, see the beauty of this, guys. Now, so profile report, inside the bracket, let's see what is the parameters we have. If we have, okay, so let's see here. Yeah, so okay, so see in this profile report you have to put the data frame, whole data frame. Okay, it's nothing like that you have to select this or that. No, you have to put all the data frame and some title you have to give. Okay, so once you have done that, okay, of course we have to execute this. So once you have done that, see, it has done now. So now if you go scroll down and if you okay, so if you click on profile now, so profile and execute it. Okay, now see the beauty of this. See the beauty of this. Okay, so what it is doing is it is calculating everything for you. So let it happen, then I will tell you. Okay, see this, see the beauty of this. Okay, so instead what we have done is we have done a lot of stuff here, right? Now what pandas profiling will do is it will generate a very beautiful report for you guys. Okay, so let's say if you want to know about the variables, click here and you will know about the variable that df.index. These are different variables, how many missing variables and stuff like that. Okay, if you scroll down, you will get the details of passenger ID. If you scroll down, you will get a detail of survived. So survived, what we were doing, we were printing each and everything, df.unique and everything. See here, distinct, it 2. How many missing values? There are 0 missing values. And they will give the basic graph also to us, that among 0 and 1, which data is more, which data is less. So basically pandas profiling, it will give you all the basic kind of information at one place. Okay. If you click on toggle details, okay, so you will get more in-depth detail about this. So overview, maximum length, median length, mean length, minimum length, then you will get how many characters, how many uniques are there, how many samples. Okay. If you click on categories, so you will get a beautiful graph, see, of different categories. So you will get a pie chart, you will get the length, you will get the count. If you want to click on correlation, so this will tell you that how each data is related to other data. Okay, so you get a lot of information here. So if I overview and if I keep on scrolling down, so this is about each variables, each classes. If I scroll more down, this will be the interaction between the different columns in a beautiful graph way. Correlations, then this will give you the missing values in the form of a count if you want, in a form of matrix you want, in a both you will get the missing values data here. So right now we don't have any missing values data because we have played with the data already. Okay, let's suppose you have a missing data, then the graph will be here shown here with the missing data. Then this is the first rows that you can see, last rows that you can see. Okay, so basically these is what you mean by pandas profiling, guys. Okay, you have lot of stuffs here. So basically if you go scroll on top, you will see interactions, you will see correlations, missing values, samples, you will each and everything here. Okay, so this is how the data is analyzed and everything. So this is what it is done. Then you can toggle data to see more data. Okay, see this. You can get the basic statistics, you can get the basic histogram, you can give the common values, you can give the extreme values, everything you can get from this pandas profiling. Okay, so this is a new library that has come into market, but not now, of course. Last year it has come into market. So this is how you can use panda profile to get the basic profiling of the data set, guys. So instead of putting the effort and putting what you have done, you can just get the data from this particular area. Clear to everyone? So you can play with this. Okay, so whenever you are playing with new data, so you can always use pandas profiling to generate a basic report for you guys, so that you can analyze the data more clearly, more quickly, and more better. Okay, so yeah, this is what we have called as pandas profiling. And this is where our use case ends, guys. So this is the end of the use case. So the problem here is I can tell you only the basic of use case because you have not studied about the statistics part. Okay, and that is a problem there. So when you will do with the statistics parts, no stats part, then you will the particular instructor who is teaching you stats or machine learning, they will tell you in more depth. They will tell you the same thing, but they will tell you the extra thing with more depth, because in that scenario you will know stats class. Okay, so KD graph and everything they will explain you, box plot graph and everything they will explain you with a proper explanation. Okay, so this is the basic of use case you have till now. Okay, so I hope you have understood that how to use pandas and how to use the graphs and how to use pandas profiling to get out the data out of it. Okay, guys, great. So let's do one thing. So guys, the use case is over. Okay, I will upload this notebook. If you want to practice, you can practice. And of course, guys, I have also told you about Kaggle also, right? So you can go to Kaggle also and you can get a new data sets and you can play with the data sets. Okay, so you can explore the Kaggle to understand much more, to study much more better, and to get the more and more ideas. The more you solve, the more clear you will get in your minds. Okay, remember this thing. It's like a marathon. Okay, so you have to keep on progressing each and every time. Okay, so it's not like a sprint that you will study and you will go. No, it's like a marathon that you have to study to get succeed in the in this particular data science field. Okay, so the Kaggle is there for you, and you have a lot and lot of things on internet. So just try to explore it. Okay, so yes.
Afsan, on Kaggle, what we should search? Like
Okay, for
basic.
example, let's say let's go to Kaggle. Okay, let's say you want a particular, suppose let's say data cleaning, and the data set name, let's say COVID. Okay, so you can practice this because COVID is a new thing that we have. So see, COVID-19 healthy diet data set. If you click on here, so basically this is a data set that is given to us. So which this is not what we want. Go back. So wherever you can see notebook here, right? Notebook. Okay, that is what people have done the analysis. So see COVID-19 analysis. If you click on here by Nisraz Rajvi. So if you click on here, let's see what else we can get. So see EDA, man versus disease. So you get a lot and lot of things here. So once you have clicked here, if you, so basic information about COVID in India, if you scroll down, they will tell you each and every step, how you can do it. Okay. And the problem is that this is not rendering the graphs, but yours will. But see, people have written the code to render the graphs. See, this is how beautiful you can draw it in the graphs. And see, you can actually, whenever I'm scrolling, you can see the data there. See. Okay, so this is how you can learn the things, guys. Okay, so gender wise insight. So if you want gender wise insight, they will also tell you about that. So this is how it works, guys. See how beautiful they have done it. This is the beauty of pandas, guys. So basically they are using different libraries, of course, but see how beautifully they are doing the things here. See. Isn't that interesting, guys? So this is how you can visualize the thing. So see demographic visualizations. If you scroll down, you will get a demographic visualization like this. So how they have done it, everything is given to us. Okay, so basically they are using different Python packages. That's the beauty of Python, that everything is there for you. You have to just learn it. So Folium is the library which will plot the things on the map, guys. Okay, so this, see, if you scroll it, then you will be learning new things here. Okay, so this is just one of the things, so you can keep on searching here. Clear, Sachin, how you can do it now?
Yes.
Okay, so guys, you will learn a lot and lot of things in Kaggle, trust me. Okay, this will master you in everything. So try to practice Kaggle at least, okay, so that you can soil fertility, EDA and model. So you can click on home, and whatever you are following news feed, so you will get in the feed also. So best place to learn data science, guys. Okay, best place. Okay. Now, guys, I will be teaching you two things. Okay, that is the Python class. Okay, so people who want to attend, you can attend. People who don't want to attend, they can leave the session. Basically, my batch, okay, my December batch people, you have to stay because this is the new topic for you. But the people who are from Gaurav's batch is totally up to you. If you want to attend, you are welcome here. But if you don't want to attend, it's totally up to you. Okay, and the topic that we're gonna see will be regex and try and exception handling. Okay, these two topics, which I think is a very important topic in a life of data scientist, as well as in a life of software development developer also. So what I will do is I will click here, new. So the first thing that we got to learn will be regex, that is regular expression. Okay, so if anyone is leaving, just let me know. Okay. Okay. Now for a regular expression, guys, the first thing that you have to make clear in mind is what is regular expression. What is regex? So people from Gaurav's batch, can you tell me what is the advantage of regex or why we use regex? Anyone? Okay. So basically regex is a technique. Okay, so they basically allow to search for a match in a specific text. Specific text. Okay, for example, let's take an example of this. The example is, let's say you have a very long text. Okay, let's suppose you have a Times of India newspaper. Okay, and you have read one article. Okay, now in that article you want to extract all the address of a particular people. So if you try to go with the manual work, it will take a lot of time, right? So what we can do is we can write a particular program to get a match of it. Let's say if you have a Twitter data with you. Okay, let's say you have a Twitter data with you, you have extracted the data and all the data of Twitter is with you in the form of any kind of file, let's say. Now, let's say you want to extract the email addresses of all the address that is mentioned in that tweet. So you can use something called as regex and you can extract all the email address from particular text. That's the beauty of regular expression. Okay. So this is what a basic intro about regular expression. To understand regular expression, you have to understand this first. So there are different special symbols that you have to understand first. The first symbol that we have is a dot symbol. Now, dot symbol indicates any character except new line. Okay, any character except new line. So basically it will in a particular text, it will extract for you every character that it has except the new line. So don't worry, first I am giving all the special characters to you and then I will explain everything one by one. So /d, what it will do is it will try to extract every digit from 0 to 9. So digit from 0 to 9. Okay, in the same manner, we have something called as /D. Okay, and this /D, what it will do is, so the concept here is the small character, it will try to extract that, and the capital version of that, so this is small d, the capital version of that will be not a digit, so not a digit. So it will extract everything except the digit. So capital D is not a digit, that is from 0 to 9. Okay, then you have /W. So /W stands for word character. Okay, word character. So basically word character. So when I say word character, so A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore. So when I say word character, so these all data will be extracted. That is any characters if you have from small a to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9 underscore, everything will be extracted. Okay. Then of course we have a capital version of that, and that is not a word character. Okay. So basically anything other than this will be extracted. Okay. That is what you mean by capital W. So if you notice, small characters are to extract it and capital D are not to extract that. Okay. So then after /W, we have something called as /S. So what /S will do is, so of course small s, it will extract all the white spaces. And what a white space is? Nothing but space. Let's take space. Let's take tab. Let's take new line. Okay, white space. Then we have something called a /b, and that is word boundary. And then we have capital /b, and that is not a word boundary. Okay, guys. So these two things now, word boundary and not a word boundary, I can explain you only with the help of an example. Okay, because we don't have any definition for it. When I tell you the example, then you will understand. Okay, what is a word boundary? What is not a word boundary? Okay, so I will just leave it like that. Then you have something called as a cap symbol. So cap symbol is for beginning of a string. If you want to extract a string with a particular beginning, let's say if you want to extract a string, let's say if it starts with the, so you can use this particular symbol. On the same lines, this symbol means end of the string. Then we have brackets. So this bracket is nothing but matches the characters in the brackets. Then we have this bracket with this symbol. So matches character not in the bracket. Then we have this pipe symbol, and this symbol is called as either or. Then we have this symbol is called as group. Okay, and then we have something called as quantifiers. So guys, this symbol, no, you have to understand these symbols. Okay, then only you can proceed with regular expression. But I will tell you that what happens in the real world scenario also. Okay, but after that is afterwards, not now. Okay, then we have something called as quantifiers. So we have star, so that is 0 or more. Then we have something called as plus, and that is 1 or more. Then we have question mark, and that is 0 or 1. Then we have this kind of symbol. This means that exact number. Okay, and then we have something like this. So 3,4. So this means that range of numbers, and that is minimum and maximum. Okay, so guys, these are the symbols that you have to learn for a regular expression. Okay, so by using this, you try to extract some kind of stuffs. Okay, let's try to dive in and let's try to understand each one of them in details. Okay, so I will copy this and paste in the chat box screen, guys. So guys, I want everyone to copy this and paste in your Jupyter notebook also, because I will be asking the questions and you have to refer this and you have to tell me the answers. Okay, so everyone copy this and paste in your Jupyter notebook. Okay, now to work with a regular expression, so we have to download, we have to import a module, and that is import RE. RE stands for regular expression. Okay, so to work with a regular expression, RE is the thing that you have to work with. Then this is how you have to work. Okay, so the first thing is you have to write the pattern here, which is equal to re.compile, and inside the bracket what you want to search for. Okay, inside this bracket you have to give what you want to search for. Okay. Then after, let's say I want to search for Afsan. Okay. Let's say I want to search for Afsan. And it's a good practice to write a raw string like this. Okay. So that every characters can be treated as a character. Okay. So suppose if you have /n here. So I don't want this /n to be treated as /n. I want this /n to be treated as a Python string. Okay. So it's always a good practice to put R here. Okay. Then after writing this, the next line that you have to write is pattern. And now this pattern is this pattern. Okay. So if you're writing here, let's say ABC, this will be ABC. Please remember that. Okay. So whatever object you have created, you have to use the same object. Okay. So pattern and pattern dot find iter. Okay. There's a method called as find iter. Inside this, you have to write in which text you want to search for. Okay. So text to search. Here you have to write that what you are searching for. What you want to search. And this is text to search. From where you want to search. So I want to search Afsan Khan from this particular text. Okay. So for example, let's say this is text to search. Okay. And I'm writing some text here. Let's say Messi is a good player. Afsan loves to play football. Afsan is Messi fan. Okay, so I'm writing this. Suppose this is a text we have. Okay, so I want to extract all the word Afsan from this particular text. Okay, so what I can do is, so basically text to search is this. Okay, and then what you want to search for. So I will write here, and I want to search for Afsan. Okay, so see, I will explain again. So the first line of code is what you want to search for. Okay, so let's say I want to search for Afsan. So of course you want to search Afsan, but from where you want to search Afsan? Correct, makes sense? So that we have as pattern.findIter. What this will do is your pattern will be registered here. So pattern, and it will find everything from this tag to search. Okay, so if I execute this and if I execute this, RE is not defined, so I will execute this also. Now what I will do is I will store something called as matches, MATCHES equal to this. Now whatever search you have in matches, whatever search it has found out, it will be in matches now. So if you want to use this, you can do for match in matches, and you can do print match and execute it. See this. So basically what it's doing is it is taking this Afsan, it is searching here where all the Afsan is, and it is giving you the location where the Afsan is present. See. Okay, it is giving you the location where Afsan is present. So it is telling me that, okay, we found two Afsan. Okay, basically we found two Afsan. This is Afsan 1 and this is Afsan 2. So if you see here, we have two Afsans, Afsan 1 and Afsan 2. Correct? It is also telling me the location where this Afsan is present. So if you know the concept of slicing, guys, so text to search, and if you try to give this particular thing, copy and paste, and between these two, I will give a slicing and execute it. See, Afsan is extracted. If you try to give this also 5460, so 5460 extracted, and see Afsan is extracted. And this is what a regular expression is all about, guys. So suppose, let's say this text, you have a Twitter data, or let's say you have a Facebook data with you, and you have a task to extract all the email of your friend. So you can write a regex for email, and everything, all the emails will be extracted from here, guys. That is what you call as regex. So so the basics understanding of regex is clear to everyone. That I want to do first in the chat box. That why regex is used. What is the use of regex? That is clear to everyone. And with this syntax, if anyone has a doubt, please ask. If there's no doubt, you can write clear in the chat box. What about others? Harpreet and everyone, Priyanshu. What about you guys? So if you're from the Gaurav batch also, you can reply, guys. There's no issues like that. Okay. For me, everyone is equal. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Now let's try to do one thing. Let's try to go in more depth. Okay. Let's try to understand each symbols now. Okay. Let's try to understand each symbols, and then we will try to move. So we will take a baby step. Okay. We will go everything step by step. So the first thing that we're gonna see is dot. Okay. So I've given you the syntax, right? So tell me, what do you mean by dot? What is the meaning of dot? The definition which I've given you.
Any
Can anyone-
character except any character except new line.
Any character except a new line, right? So I will copy this technique. I will paste here. Okay. And one more thing. Let me give you one text to search. Okay. Let's say we have this text with us. Okay, so let's say we have this text with us. Okay, so I have written a lot of stuff here with different varieties, phone numbers, name, email, and everything. So we will work with this.
Can you send
text.
this? Can you send this?
Yeah, of course. Copy, paste. Okay, so this is, guys, please, and if possible, no, try to code with me. Okay, so then only we will understand what is happening. So this is the text to search that we have. If you scroll down now, I will put here in that what you want to search text, I will put R and a dot. Okay, R and a dot. So I will execute this, I will erase. Okay, so it will be like this. Okay, now let's try to find out what will happen. So if I execute this, see the output, guys. So when you put a dot, the definition is what? It will extract any character except a new line. So if you go for a particular text that you're searching for, so in this text, it will extract each character. So if you see here, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, it is extracting each of the characters. But what will be not present here, guys? Can anyone tell me?
New line.
In this extraction, there will be something which will not be present. What is that?
New line.
Yes. Okay. So if you see, this is new line, right? This is new line. At the end, we have new lines /n, which you cannot see, of course, but Python understand as a new line. But that will not be extracted. That's the meaning of dot. Okay, that's the meaning of dot here. So everything will be extracted except the new line. So you will not see anywhere /n here. You will not see anywhere /n. That is what you mean by dot. Okay. Then the next thing that will go up to is, let's say, digit. So to
Sir, in this
extract,
option, in this after capital Z, there is one backslash
where
after capital Z. In second line.
yes.
But it is searching two. It is printing like two backslash. So
Okay. Why it is doing this is, see, you have slashes, right? But you want to treat as slashes as a normal string. So that's why, remember the escape characters I've taught you?
yes.
So slashes is for what? Slashes to find out the space, right? So that's why it is putting double slash here to just so that it can be a escape character. So it is for that purpose. Got it?
Can you repeat? Can you repeat?
Sorry. Okay. So basically, see, if you have a print, okay, if you have a slash t. Now what is slash t means? So if I write Afsan here and if I write Khan here, and if I do print a, see, it becomes a tab, correct?
Yes.
But if you don't want to treat this as a tab, so what you do, you put a escape character before that is a slash, one more, and
Yes.
execute it. So it will be treated as a slash t, right?
Hmm.
So this Python is interpreting that as this because you have put a raw string here, right? Got the point?
Hmm.
So that's why that special character, that is slash s, is treated as a normal, not a special character. So that's why two slashes you get.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that's the meaning of that. Then we have a digit that is from 0 to 9. Okay, what is this? If you want to extract from this whole text area, if you want to extract only the numbers from 0 to 9, which is the symbol for that, guys?
Backslash D.
Backslash, capital or small d?
Small.
Small d. Okay, so if you do here and if you put slash d and execute it, sorry, not this, this slash d and execute it, see, it will extract all the numbers for you now. And you will not see anything other than that. So 0 to 9, so you will only see 0 to 9. Rest everything will be ignored. This is what you mean by slash d, guys.
Afsan, here we are writing R for raw. So doesn't that mean that we have to search specifically backslash and D, not digit?
No, this raw what you have, no, this for Python raw number. This is slash d is not Python raw. This is regex ka special characters that we have.
Okay.
Okay, Python's raw is something else. So see, when you put R, no, that R is for Python raw strings. For example, slash t, slash n, then we have slash s. Remember?
Yes. Yes.
So
Understood.
this for that, if you want to treat as a normal thing, you have to put R.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, not so this what we have, no, these are the regular special specific characters. This is not treated as a Python specific characters. Okay, so yeah. So this is what we have for small d. Then we have a capital D. So what capital D stands for?
Not a digit.
It is not a digit. So can anyone tell me the output? What can be the output?
Except the above one. Hold
Yes.
it except the.
Everything will be extracted except the digit now. So it is a ulta of that. Okay, it is a vice versa of that. So here we have extracted all the digits, right? So if you do slash D, if I put capital D and extracted C, now you are getting slash N also. You are getting A, B, C. Basically, you will get everything now, but you will never see a digit here. See, if you scroll down, you will never see a digit here. See, so that is what you mean by capital D. Till here is clear to everyone in a chat box, please. So I will go step by step. Okay. So after every 2 to 3 things, I will keep on asking you because this is a very important topic. Yeah. All the 8 participants, I want the answer, please. Okay, great. So we have seen about these three things, that is slash D, capital D. Now let's try to understand slash W and capital W. So if you copy this and paste here. So we have something called as slash W. Okay, so slash W is, it will search for all the word characters. And what are included in the word characters? Which are characters are included in word characters, guys?
Small a to z, capital A
Small
to z,
a
0
to
to
Z.
9 and underscore.
Yes, capital A to Z, then 0 to 9 and underscore. So when you put slash W, so it will extract only these characters what are present in word characters. Okay, so if you put here slash W and execute it and see this, whatever is here, you will only see that characters here. You will not see other than that. So if you keep on scrolling down, see numbers also you can see. Everything what is present in the word character, that is only you can see. See, you can see underscore also. Rest everything is not extracted. Okay.
Afsan, if we want to pick up these words, then how we'll pick up from this match? Match is a
So you have this match, right? So if you do dot span, you will get all the span of it. Okay, and you can just do the 0 and the 1 and you can extract all the words. Got the point?
like match dot match 0.
So see, okay, sorry, wait. What match is so this is what it is giving, rematch object. Okay, so let's do one thing. Acha, okay. So basically, let's say you want to extract all the words, right? That is what you're saying.
Yes.
So basically, what you can do is, there is something. So there's a new method for it. I will tell you. So what you can do is, you can use re.search. Okay, and re.search, and let's say what you want here. So you want slash. So suppose, let's say you want let's say Smith from here, and which text you want. So copy this and paste here. Okay, and execute it. So basically, if the Smith is present, okay, let's say in a text what is present. Okay, let's say A. You want to extract all the A's. Execute it, and it will give you all the A's here. So re.search, re.find. Okay. So re.find also, yes. Find all. And this is what you wanted. You get the answer. See, it is extracting everything now. So you can use find all and you can extract everything here. Got it?
Okay.
Okay. So for example, let's say this is the text that I was having. So if you want to extract all the names, so what you can do is, you can put text to search here, and let's say you want to extract Messi. So Messi, and all the Messi will be extracted. So you can use a find all technique to do that. I hope it's clear now.
Yes. So there are different functions for if you want
Yes,
to start
different
index
functions.
and
Yes.
start index and stop index.
Yes, exactly. So see, this compile method, no, it will be debugging everything and giving you this particular part. But let's say if you want to extract all the emails, so you can put a syntax for an email here and you can extract all the emails here. Got it?
Yes.
So this is how you can use it. Okay. So now what I was saying, yeah. So let's say if I do here capital W. So can anyone tell me what all things will be extracted?
Not a character.
So basically everything which is not small a to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9 and underscore, that everything will be extracted. So if you execute it, see, you will see all these kind of characters here, see. Okay, now text to search is okay. So the problem here is that the text to search is changed now. Okay, so I will execute this again. I will come down and I will execute this again. Okay, now you will see a long list. See, this is what you mean by slash W. So these things we have covered here, guys. Okay, I think I've missed one. And guys, everyone add this, okay? If we have a small s, then of course we have a capital S also, right? So not a white space. Okay, so let's try to look that also. Copy and paste. Okay, so there's something called as small s. So small s, what it will do is it will try to extract all the spaces for you. So if you do slash s, see all the spaces. So slash and space, whatever space you can see, it will extract all the spaces for you guys. Okay, so that's what your slash s is. But let's say you want everything except the spaces, so you can put capital S here and execute it. So here you will get only the text without the spaces. Now there will be no spaces in this particular text. If you notice, you can see that.
So capital slash s and dot are same.
Capital slashes and dot are same. No, in a dot, if you see in a dot, okay, only slash n is included. Space and everything will be included. Got the point? In a dot, only slash n will be excluded. Rest everything will be included. But here in not a white space, so everything like this will be excluded. Got the difference?
Yeah.
Okay, so spaces and tab will be also excluded in white space, but not in dot. Dot is only for new line. That's it. So this is the difference between a dot and a slashes. I hope you got the difference.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So guys, this is where I will stop right now. Okay. So basically, if you scroll on top, so this is what we have covered. So I want you guys to revise this first in today's half. So the use case that you have to understand that use case, try to understand the use case and try to understand this part. Okay. And then I will try to go to the tougher part now. Okay. So from here now, the levels are increasing now. Okay. So this is a basic level. This is the highest level. This is the most more higher level, and this is more higher level. So we need a time to understand this first. Okay, so guys, I have stopped here. I will not teach anything more now. Try to practice this. I'm uploading the notebook right now. So if you think, okay, I want to practice right now to the class, you can do that also. Okay, guys, so like this, in tomorrow's session, I will finish the regex part. After the regex, then we will also try to understand something called as exceptional handling. One of the very important topic in a life of software development. Okay, and I think these two topics you should know as a part of Python. Okay, so these two topics I will finish till tomorrow, and your Python is over there.
Then Afsan, file handling.
File handling, that will be taught as a special class to you.
Special class means when it will be there.
Special class means it will be on weekdays or something. I will be announced. So basically GitHub. Okay, then let's say GitHub will be taught to you from the basics. Then there's something called as file handling that will be taught you from basics. Then there's a OOPS concept. So special class is, it will be not included in your regular class. It will be like from Monday to Wednesday, I will take 2 hour sessions from 7 to 9, and I will teach you everything. So it's like that. Got
Yeah,
the
but
point?
recording will be available. Recording will be available.
Yeah, recording will be available. Yes, recording will be.
Then we can see from there.
Yes. Or else if everyone wants, then we can keep a special class and we can go with that also. So on the weekdays from 9 to 12 only, we can keep a special class and we can go with that also. But for that, we require everyone to be in that scenario first. Okay, so that's the thing. Okay, so first, what will happen? This will be taught to you. Then stats, machine learning, and then extra class will be kept for you, and you can learn these new things, which is remaining topics.
Okay.
So this is all. Yeah.
Sorry, you said we are doing classes on Monday to Wednesday. You said that?
No, what I'm saying is, let's say after stats and machine learning, okay? So if you want to learn this topic, that is file handling, or you want to learn GitHub, so you can just demand for it. And once everyone is, suppose, let's say we have many students for this, so we can keep an extra class for everyone on that scenarios. So extra class will be from Monday to Friday, or let's say Monday to Friday in the morning or in the evening, how everyone is agreed. So according to that, we will go. So it's like that, Sachin. Got my point? Because on the regular
Yes,
day, you
yes.
will be having your normal classes of stats and ML, right? So I cannot disturb that class.
After ML, and that will be after ML.
That will be after ML, yeah. So we can, after ML, we can take a session and I will teach you about file handling and GitHub also in that section. Okay, so this is how it goes. Any more doubts? Any more thing you guys want to clarify?
So what will be the agenda for tomorrow's class then? Because
Tomorrow's
in data,
class, regex and exception handling.
okay.
So I will message in both the groups. Okay, the class is started. If you want to attend, it's totally up to you. But my batch, you have to attend this. Okay. So December batch have to attend this. October batch is totally your choice. If you want to come, you can come. Okay.